Imagine walking a red carpet with cameras flashing, fans cheering, and then out of nowhere, a stranger breaks through security, rushes at you, and grabs you in front of the entire world. That's exactly what happened to Ariana Grande at the Wicked for Good premiere in Singapore. And the craziest part? The man who grabbed her didn't hide, nor did he apologize. Instead, he went online and bragged about it like it was some kind of achievement. People were already shocked seeing the moment unfold. But once fans found out who he was, the entire situation went from scary to this could have ended very differently. This wasn't just a harmless hug from an excited fan. This was a dangerous stunt pulled by someone who's been doing reckless things for clout for years. And what he did to Ariana crossed the line. But to understand why everyone is so furious and why this moment hit Ariana harder than most people realize, you have to see exactly how fast everything went wrong. Let's talk about it. November 13th, 2025, the premiere started like every other glamorous event. Ariana was walking the yellow carpet at Universal Studios Singapore, smiling with Cynthia Erivo, waving to fans, and taking in the excitement of the Wicked launch. Everything looked calm and organized, until one man decided none of the rules applied to him. In an instant, a guy wearing a white shirt and shorts sprinted past the barriers, pushed through photographers, and charged straight toward Ariana. There was no hesitation. It was a full-speed run right into her personal space. Before anyone could react, he wrapped his arms around her shoulders and pulled her close. And you could see it on her face. She wasn't excited and she wasn't happy. She was shocked and trying to pull away. Cynthia Erivo noticed immediately. She didn't even pause. She stepped between them and shoved him back, yelling at him as security rushed in. Within seconds, guards grabbed him, dragged him off the carpet, and dragged him back over the barricade. The crowd went from cheering to gasping in one snap. Even people watching the live stream said their hearts dropped when they saw Ariana's expression. Ariana, trying to get her breath steady, leaned towards Cynthia and Michelle Yeoh as they comforted her. It wasn't a small scare. It was clear she was shaken, and honestly, anyone would be. This wasn't some random fan leaning in for a selfie. This was a stranger charging full speed toward a woman who had no idea what he wanted or what he was about to do. And even though that moment alone would have been terrifying for anyone, once viewers figured out who he was, everything got way worse. The wild thing is, this incident wasn't caused by some starstruck fan who lost control. People online recognized him almost instantly. The man who grabbed Ariana is Johnson Wen, a 25-year-old Australian content creator, if we can even call him that at this point, who calls himself Pajama Man. And if you've never heard of him before, this isn't his first time pulling something stupid like this for attention. He's known for a streak of stunts that all follow the same pattern: break the rules, scare people, and then turn it into content. He's the same guy who crashed Katy Perry's concert, ran up during the Weeknd's show, and even stormed the men's 100m final at the 2024 Paris Olympics. At one point, he even invaded the pitch at the World Cup final, like it was all just part of his daily routine. And get this scumbag brags about this stuff online. He lists these incidents in his bio like they're trophies, and he even drops links asking for donations to help cover his bills, which many people assume are his fines. And reports claim those fines are up to tens of thousands of dollars. But he keeps doing it anyway. Allegedly, he sees these stunts as worth it because they boost his views, his followers, and his viral moments. And based on how he acts, that honestly doesn't feel far-fetched. But the bigger problem is that he doesn't seem to care who gets scared or hurt along the way. Whether it's a singer in the middle of a performance or an athlete seconds away from the biggest race of their life, he treats boundaries like suggestions. And when viewers realized that was the same guy who ran up and grabbed Ariana, the fear turned into anger. And if that sounds reckless already, just wait until you hear what he did right after being dragged off the carpet. Most people would be embarrassed after being ripped away by security. They'd go quiet, rethink their choices, maybe even feel guilty, but not this guy. Instead, he pulled out his phone, opened Instagram, and started bragging. On his feed, he posted a video of the moment he grabbed Ariana, the same moment that left her shaken and shocked. And he captioned it like it was a sweet interaction, acting like they shared some wholesome moment instead of a terrifying boundary violation. Then, on his Instagram story, he filmed himself casually walking around Singapore, smiling and saying, "I'm free after being arrested," as if he had just gotten out of a fun little amusement park ride. No remorse, no apology, no understanding that what he did wasn't funny at all, and that it was harmful and stupid. And just like me, people online were furious. Comments flooded in. calling his behavior creepy, reckless, and irresponsible. Some fans even asked if he could be banned from coming back to Singapore. Others said Ariana might feel unsafe returning for future events because of him. And honestly, can anyone blame them? But what really made people angry wasn't just the stunt itself. It was the way he acted afterward, treating the whole thing like content for clout instead of acknowledging the harm and fear he caused. And when you see how he behaves online, it's obvious he didn't do this because he loves Ariana. He did it because he loves attention. And the reason this moment hit Ariana so hard goes even deeper, because this wasn't just a random scare. For her, it touched on something much darker that she's been trying to heal from for years. For most celebrities, getting grabbed by a stranger would already be terrifying. But for Ariana Grande, it cuts much deeper. She isn't just someone who deals with loud crowds and flashing cameras. She's a person who survived one of the most traumatic events in modern concert history. And even though she doesn't talk about it often, everyone knows the weight she still carries. Back in 2017, her Manchester concert turned into a tragedy that changed her life forever. People were hurt, people were lost, and Ariana has openly said that she struggles with PTSD because of it. Even years later, she's mentioned that just thinking about it brings her to tears. That kind of trauma doesn't go away easily. It usually lingers. It follows you into every crowd, every event, every place where you should feel safe. So imagine being her in that moment on the yellow carpet, surrounded by noise, surrounded by people, and suddenly a stranger runs full speed towards you and grabs with force. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know what he wanted, and after everything she's lived through, her body reacted before her mind could even process it. The way she tried to breathe, the way Cynthia and Michelle leaned in to steady her, it said everything. This wasn't a fan getting excited. This wasn't harmless. This was someone tearing into her personal space and ripping open old wounds she's been trying to heal for years. And the worst part? He didn't even care. To her, it was a flashback to the feeling of danger she thought she had left behind. And that's why people online weren't exaggerating or being dramatic. They felt protective because they know what Ariana has survived. They know how fragile moments like this can be for someone who's been through trauma. And as if the emotional impact wasn't bad enough, everyone kept asking the same thing. What if this guy had something more dangerous in his hands? What if this wasn't just a grab? Here's the part that made everyone's stomach drop. The man reached Ariana way too easily. He didn't slip through the crowd or blend in. He sprinted straight past the barricades and got his hands on her before security even understood what was happening. It all happened in seconds, and that alone should scare anyone. Because if a person can get that close with no warning, what else could they have done? People online couldn't stop bringing up the darkest possibility. What if he had a weapon? What if he wasn't just there to show off for his followers? Even something as small as a hidden knife could have turned this from a scare to a tragedy, and no one is saying he had one. But that's exactly the point. You never know. That uncertainty is what makes these pranks dangerous. We've seen too many situations where public events turn from bright and exciting to chaotic and deadly in seconds. That's why red carpets have rules. That's why there are barriers, guards, and controlled entrances. These aren't vibes killers. These are life-saving measures. And this man broke through them without a second thought. Even worse, viewers pointed out that people paid real money to attend this premiere. It wasn't some casual fan event where anything goes. It was supposed to be secure, safe, and professional, yet someone still managed to break in, grab a world-famous artist, and then walk out like it was nothing. That's the danger, not just the moment itself, but the message it sends. If people see that you can do something reckless, scare a celebrity, get dragged out, and then leave with no real consequence, that's how copycats are born. And the next person who tries it might not be just clout chasing. They might have something far worse in mind. Which brings us to another problem. When you see what actually happens to this guy after pulling a stunt like this, it suddenly becomes clear why so many people think the consequences are nowhere near strong enough. Because right now, in Singapore, Johnson Wen is being reportedly charged with public nuisance for jumping the barricade and grabbing Ariana. That charge carries up to 3 months in jail, a fine of up to 2,000 Singapore dollars, about 1,500 US dollars, or both. And honestly, for a stunt that shocked thousands of people and terrified someone with Ariana's history, that feels tiny. There's also talk that Singapore could deport him and bar him from coming back. And a lot of viewers think that's fair, because this wasn't a tourist making a mistake. This was someone with a long, messy track record of doing whatever he wants for attention. Even before Singapore, he was racking up fines everywhere. And that's not even the worst part. He allegedly bragged that he's collected around 13,000 US dollars in fines from all his stunts combined. It's become part of his persona, almost like a twisted resume. The problem is, none of these fines have stopped this Not one. If anything, they seem to make him double down. And viewers are right to be angry, because regular people work hard, follow rules, and don't get to treat the law like a joke. Meanwhile, this guy keeps turning dangerous stunts into a pattern, and the penalties barely slow him down. The impact isn't small either. Fans in Singapore are begging Ariana not to blacklist the country because of him. Comment sections are full of people calling for jail time, bans, even caning, because they're scared of what could happen if someone else tries the same thing. And that fear is real. If this ends with a tiny fine and a story he can brag about, what's stopping the next clout chaser from doing something worse? What if someone thinks they can get the same attention by copying him? What if the next person isn't harmless? And honestly, people who are outraged have every right to be. This isn't internet overreaction. This is a community seeing how weak consequences can invite the next wannabe stunt guy to put even more people in danger. So here's the question. Do you think the punishment he's facing so far is enough? Should someone who keeps crashing events, scaring celebrities, and ignoring every warning be jailed, deported, banned for life from public venues? Would a harsher sentence finally stop the copycats? Looking back on everything that unfolded that night, it's clear this wasn't just a chaotic moment on a red carpet. It was the latest chapter in a long pattern of someone putting others at risk for a few seconds of fame. Ariana was grabbed out of nowhere by a man who didn't care how she felt, didn't think about her trauma, and didn't consider the fear he created for everyone around her. Cynthia Erivo stepped in instantly. Michelle Yeoh rushed to comfort her, but no matter how fast her team protected her, Ariana still walked away shaken. And honestly, who wouldn't? Meanwhile, the man who caused it walked away posting about how free he was after being arrested, as if this entire thing was just another adventure. And that's exactly why so many people think the punishment he's facing isn't enough. After years of stunts, after tens of thousands in fines, after constant warnings, he still hasn't learned anything. And when someone keeps repeating the same dangerous behavior, I think the problem isn't the mistake. It's probably the lack of consequences. This isn't about canceling somebody. It's about basic safety. It's about protecting artists, fans, security staff, and everyone who shows up to enjoy an event without worrying if someone's going to sprint out of nowhere and cause chaos. And if the outcome is another small fine, another slap on the wrist, and another self-made video to brag about online, then nothing changes. So what do you think? What should the punishment be for someone who keeps doing this? Do you think jail time is the only thing that would make him stop? Should countries bar him from re-entering if he treats public safety like a game? Should the law come down harder on serial event crashers before someone gets seriously hurt? Because at the end of the day, no one should have to fear for their safety just because someone else wants a viral moment. And if this incident doesn't make that crystal clear, then the next one might not end with just a scare. Your thoughts matter here. What do you think the consequences should be? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.